Breaking news: Senate suspends Senator Natasha for 6 months after accusing Akpabio of sexual harassment. Is it that the Senate suspended Senator Akpabio for 6 months for a sexual harassment allegation, or for the fact that she has serially breached the order and rules of the House? Well, let's listen to the news. The Senate has suspended Senator Natasha Akpabio for 6 months following a sexual harassment allegation against Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Sarah reporters earlier reported that the Senate Committee on Ethics and Public Petitions had recommended a 6-month suspension for Senator Natasha Akpabio over alleged violations of the Senate standing rules. The committee also called for the suspension of her salary, allowances, and those of her legislative aides, while also withdrawing her security escorts. Chairman of the committee, Senator Hãrãssmênt, presented the recommendation on Thursday, stating that Natasha's actions had brought the Senate and its presiding officer into disrepute, that the Senate should suspend Senator Natasha for 6 months for a violation of the Senate Standing Rules 2023 as amended, for bringing the Senate President, presiding officer, and the Senate in general to public disgrace. Hãrãssmênt declared the committee further stipulated conditions for any reconsideration of the suspension. For the Senate to reconsider lifting the suspension or to reduce the tenure, Senator Natasha shall submit a written apology before reconsideration by the Senate, the committee's recommendation read. The suspension is set to take effect from March 6, 2025, and comes with additional restrictions. That the suspension of Natasha should take effect from 6th March 2025 from legislative activities forthwith. That her office should be locked up for the duration of her suspension, and she hands over all Senate properties in her possession to the clerk of the National Assembly. That for the duration of her suspension, she cannot come close or be seen within the vicinity of the National Assembly, including staff. That her salaries and allowance, including those of her legislative aides, should be suspended, and withdrawal of all security details for the duration of her suspension, the committee recommended. The Ethics Committee's recommendation comes just hours after it dismissed a sexual harassment petition filed by Senator Natasha against Senate President Godswill Akpabio, declaring it dead on arrival. During Wednesday's plenary, the committee ruled that the petition was inadmissible due to procedural violations. The petition presented today is actually dead on arrival. I am saying that because it runs contrary to Order 40, subsection 4, which states that no senator should present a petition signed by him or herself. That person, having signed it personally, makes it inadmissible before this committee, the Ethics Committee ruled. Supporting the committee's decision, the Senate Chief Whip emphasized that the petition had no legal standing. Section 40, subsection 4 also says no senator shall personally sign a petition. It is not about the committee taking a decision. It is about whether the petition is ripe to be referred to the committee. Mr. Senate President, you are being emotional because you don't want to be seen as trying to stop this allegation. You even allowed it to be referred. The Senate holds that the petition is not competent to stand before the Senate. That is the issue, he added. Earlier on Wednesday, Senator Natasha, who represents Kogi Central, submitted a petition accusing Senate President Akpabio of sexual harassment. However, the Ethics Committee dismissed it outright, paving the way for a suspension recommendation. Well, is the Senate fair in suspending Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan and all the clauses attached to the suspension? Does it not look as if they want to stifle Senator Natasha because she dared alleged that the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, has sexually harassed her? This is not the first time the Senate has suspended its members, but this appears to be the first time the conditions given for lifting the suspension is huge and tasking. How will all this turn out? How will this play out? What will be the outcome of all these actions of the Senate? What do people have to say about this? Somebody said it doesn't matter what happens, truth will always prevail over lies. It's so sad. The country we find ourselves. Stay strong, Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan. Another person is of the view is that somehow, if truly she was sexually harassed by the Senate President, let her provide evidence now. Forget public sympathy. Is that why she brought her hobby to the chambers and the kissing here and there? Well, these are different strokes for different folks. Some are of the view that Natasha Akpoti is being oppressed by the male-dominated Senate. And it's as if the other senators are afraid to stand up to speak for her so that they too will not become victims of the ongoing political chess game. What do you think about this?